At least that portion of it.
Right.
Those people have been around New York now for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
they kind of roam around and pack.
Right, yeah.
So they obviously don't have jobs.
No.
Seem kind of, the message is muddled.
It's really based in the anarchist roots of American politics. And allegedly they've been inspired by the movements of the Arab Spring. I don't think we're really looking for the Arab Spring in America.
Yeah, the Arab Spring is about democracy.
Seriously? The Occupy Wall Street protest entered its third week today. What started as less than a dozen college students camping out in a park near the New York Stock Exchange is now hundreds of protesters, and it's spread to other cities. But what are they protesting? Nobody seems to know. So this afternoon, we went to Wall Street to find out. And despite what you heard, here's what I saw. It's not just a bunch of dancing hippies protesting. There are all kinds of people there. Babies, teachers, cheerleaders, Uncle Sampta, and that.
Everyone just has something like at their core that they're really upset about. And here at least it seems that it's all molding together to be like a structural change.
That's what people have been working on. That's why the General Assemblies are here. That's why the working groups are forming, so that people can go into a specific corner like sanitation or environmental or whatever and start forming their own demands.
The importance of having a strong media presence is unquestionable. I mean, we need very powerful, positive media representation, and if we're not getting it from the mainstream media outlets, then we got to do what we just did and create it ourselves. We're not allowed to erect any structures here in the plaza, so we're not allowed to put up any tents. We're not allowed to hang anything from the trees. So when it rains, we pretty much have to just cover everything with tarps. We have one generator, and I think another one just came recently. We're running laptops, we're charging batteries, charging cell phones. We have a bunch of shooters, people out filming, who have signed up for different shifts or who have basically just showed up and said, look, I have a camera, I'm ready to film. We send them out to go film a workshop or a march or a protest, whatever, and then they come back and we have an ingest department where they ingest the footage, transcode it, whatever needs to be done, and then give it to an editor who either edits here or on an off-campus location to bring it back to upload.
In our movement, it's really important to have our means reflect the ends that we're trying to create. We want to have more representation in our government and in our economy. So in trying to create that, every decision has been made through our process of General Assemblies and through our process of working groups.
All of this is still going on, and protesters are still in Lower Manhattan. And the corporate media today is not paying too much attention. I mean, maybe they've shown some shots here or there, but in passing, not focusing on it. And a lot of other stories are getting a lot more attention. This isn't getting top billing.
The way in which the media has transformed fundamentally is, I think, one of the most significant political developments explaining so many of these things. Because if you go back and look at how journalists conceived of themselves 5 or 6 decades ago. And there's a danger to idealize or romanticize it, but it really is true that essentially if you were going to enter the field of journalism, it meant that you were going to be basically poor. You were going to be working class. The iconic reporter is somebody who is sort of slovenly dressed, sitting in an office late at night filled with his ink-stained hands. You know, somebody who really was in disposition. Dispositionally, his personality was an outsider, somebody who wanted to subvert those in power and elites. They were not at all part of the elite class. And that's what has radically changed so much. I mean, so now if you look at, say, MSNBC and you see a host on MSNBC, what you're actually seeing is a very high-ranking employee of what was General Electric and now is Comcast, who makes many millions of dollars a year and has a makeup artist sitting in front of their face for an hour applying all sorts of makeup and another person working on their hair. If you watch CNN, what you're seeing really is an employee of Time Warner who is extremely well paid. So, you know, one of the fascinating aspects of this to me is that what it's really done is it has converted what a journalist had traditionally been, which is somebody who was deliberately situated on the outside of power as a watchdog over them, you know, driven by the motto, afflict the powerful, comfort the powerless, into somebody who is now very much on every level, socioeconomically, emotionally, psychologically, someone who identifies with those in power. People in power are their colleagues, their neighbors, their friends. They rely on them in all sorts of ways, and it's converted them from watchdog over power into spokesperson.